All right. Welcome to ModernThirst.com videocast. I am Bill Straub. I'm the editor of ModernThirst.com. And sitting here in the Modern Thirst cave with me is...
Timothy Van Riper.
Who else is online? Why don't we go around the horn here?
Wes Jolly in Colorado, the World Whiskies writer for Modern Thirst.
Matt Gates down here, one of the founding members, along with Bill of ModernThirst.com, and I'm here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm Nick Krieger down here in Houston, all-around spirits guy.
All right. Today, we have something really special. We have 4 blind bourbon samples sent out by Wes Jolly to the rest of us, and he's going to lead us on a tasting of them. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and make a quick pitch. Get out and get your ModernThirst.com challenge coin now. We have 100 of these made, and they're individually numbered. So when all of these are sold, we're going to do a giveaway. And the grand prize, we'll probably give away a few different things, maybe some samples here and there, but the grand prize is going to be a bottle of Batch 5 4-Gate Whiskey Company Foundation. This is 9-year, 9-month Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. About 700 and some odd bottles made. Only about 460 of them actually went out to the public on retail. And it's got a retail price of $199.99. Sold in Kentucky only and through sealbox.com, and they're already sold out of Batch 5.
And you folks out there want it.
Absolutely. In order to get that, in order to win it, you've got to have a challenge coin. And we're going to be drawing based on the challenge coins. And unfortunately, for all you guys on the stream, looking at you people, you're not eligible.
That's okay.
So it's only
What happens
readers and watchers.
What happens if my coin gets drawn?
I'm gonna take it out. No soup for you.
Okay. I tried.
So anyway, here we are. So Wes, tell us a little bit about this tasting, and let's get into it.
Okay, I've gone through this tasting a couple times. Proper Pour Whiskey Club, some other YouTubers out there that have not been published, so that's good that you don't know what they are. The Golden Eyes, we're going to step through all 4 of these. I will tell you up front, they're all Kentucky bourbons. The goal, as we go through them, I would like you to try, and I'll be asking you, as we go through each one, what you think the proof is of the particular sample that we're tasting. And as we get through them, finish them, I'm going to ask you also to tell me whether you think that they are a low rye, high rye, wheater, whatever bourbon. So and then
was it a mistake to drink heavily for the last hour and a half before we filmed this?
Possibly. The other thing, if you think you know what distillery one or all are from, you can let me know. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you basically to put them in order, and we'll kind of come up with what the group consensus is of the top ranking is before we unveil them, and I'll unveil them in order A through D when we're done. So,
okay.
Proof, what you think the mash bill is in general, whether low rye, high rye, wheater, whatever, distillery, and your ranking.
So maybe I should have brought out a piece of paper and a pen for this.
I have a piece of paper and a pen to try to keep up with some of the things you say.
But I'm really bummed out about that because I take that everywhere. And I done goofed.
Lucky for us. I got lots of crap here in the basement.
We're going to get some bad as well. Open up A. I'm sure we're going to do A first, huh, fellas?
Yeah, so let's start with A.
Yeah, I've literally kept them hermetically sealed since you gave them to us, sir. So.
We just pulled the plastic off of them a little while ago.
Yeah, maybe I should go ahead and do that for all of them here.
There's your A. B. So we put a B left. Might need another. We'll put an A left. We'll pour that here in the future.
And I've gone through all these myself, I think 3 different times, mixed up blind, so I've got my notes from before, so I'll be listening more to what you're saying, try to key in on some of the notes you're getting.
I guess we're going to pour a little bit of A now, huh?
Yes, start with A.
We went ahead and poured all of them. I want to let them sit in the glass for a minute here.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got them all poured also. I poured them about an hour ago.
Ooh.
But I've had the nice toppers on there to
I love those
What world is that?
4 points.
Different one for each glass.
Product placement. We only paid about $500 for that product placement there, in case you're wondering. But Scotch chest dummies?
Also
Yes.
have water in my patented Modern Thirst glass here too. So gotta have some water.
All right.
All right.
So, what are you getting on the nose on the first on A?
Oh, let me smell it.
Lot of corn, lot of grain. Like it's, I feel like it's more corn and grain forward than anything.
I already have an idea. I think
It's very, very familiar.
there's one downside to this is I use the same glass. We just recorded a video where we tasted an Elijah Craig barrel proof, and I just realized I used the same glass on this one.
You done goofed.
Uh-oh.
So, was that your guess when you first started?
It smelled like Heaven Hill, but this had very, very high proof Heaven Hill in the glass before I poured this, so I may have screwed this up. I ruined everything.
I get a lot of honey on it, I'll be honest. A lot of orange.
Yeah, it's sweet, man.
Yeah, it almost smells like a mead to me.
It's sweet. It's definitely,
I
the weeder.
Heaven Hill.
It's not Heaven Hill, but it's.
I think it's turkey.
Matt, did you say a weeder?
Yeah, I was guessing weeder. Just from the sweetness, it seems like a. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of corn.
Almost reminds me of like a Kentucky bourbon distiller's kind of
It's not Heaven Hill.
label of some sort.
It's definitely not weeded.
I don't know. This one's
Oh no, that's spicy.
I really like it. I
yeah.
have a guess of what it is. And I'm going to say it's not weeded. I'm going to say it's a pretty standard rye mash bill.
They would call it high rye, but it's.
I don't really. If it's who I think it is, I don't call it high rye. But I think it's a rye mash bill.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 8 years old, 8 to 10 at most. And I think it's 100 to 110 proof.
I think I put it at 95 proof. I think that's about somewhere in that range. I think it's quite flammable, but could be wrong. It's hard to tell. This one's actually pretty smooth on the sip. The nose is a lot stronger than the sip. That's for sure.
I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I think it has a lot of caramel to it, a lot of sweetness. I get a lot of this. It's almost like a spice cake, which to me is a hallmark of one of the. I get it a lot with one of the distilleries, which is why I'm going to guess. My guess is that it's a Russell's Reserve.
Okay.
Turkey.
It may not be 110 proof. That's the only thing that gets me on it. Is this maybe like a Kentucky Spirit or something a little bit lower proof.
And you can come back to them at the end also, I mean, as we go through them. But I've got Bill, you think it's 100 to 110, Russell's Reserve. Nick, you say turkey? A wild turkey?
No,
Also?
I think it's probably a KBD, like a maybe 1792 or a label from KBD,
Okay.
something like that, like in the 90-ish proof range. Got to get a lot of cherries, definitely a lot of corn, definitely a lot of, and some honey. Obviously, I said that to begin with. That's mostly in the nose.
I'm getting a higher proof there. I'm kind of with you, Straub, and that kind of points to
There's this weird
some kind of turkey. And I was totally wrong on the weeder, I think, because it's a lot spicier when
Yeah, I get some.
on the palate.
So there's a kind of a baker's yeast on the end of it that I get. Yeah, I want to not drink all of it so that I can come back to it. And drink too much.
Yeah. Matt, what were you thinking for the proof?
I'm thinking it's approaching 110. It's definitely over 100.
Okay.
I'd almost say 101.
I don't think it's turkey. I think it's Willet. Like, there's this weird like.
Interesting.
Doesn't have the you mean Willet distill it?
Yeah,
It doesn't have the menthol.
It doesn't,
This
but it has-
menthol from Willet that I just can't handle. Can we ask? Are all of these? Did you send? Are all of these produced by the label? Meaning, are any of these sourced whiskeys?
They are not sourced.
Okay.
Okay, and then are they all readily available statewide? Like, is there anything like state exclusive, or is it all?
They are all available, but they may be some store picks or something. But they're all available. They're all Kentucky bourbons.
Interesting.
They're all year-round labels.
Yes.
I'm feeling turkey with this. May not be. I may be wrong. Again, the best way to make a fool out of yourself is to declare something on a blind tasting, and then
Right.
It's always exciting, fun, and scary.
But that's what I get, and really what I'm saying is that I get this kind of baker's yeast on the tail end, along with some kind of spice cake, which is, for me, I get that often with wild turkey. What's throwing me is I'm trying to decide what it could be. If it's a Russell's Reserve, it's drinking easier than the proof.
If it's a Russell's Reserve, it's a weird Russell's Reserve,
and
like,
it's drinking way easier than the proof.
Yeah.
It's not, because if it is 110, it drinks more like a 101 to me.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And that's why maybe it's fooling me and I'm thinking it's under because it's really smooth.
It could be. I mean, yeah, you might be right. I don't know.
It's hard. Yeah, this one's hard to tell. I'll be honest with you, but definitely something I'd drink again, whatever it was. It's pretty dang good.
Matt, any guess on the distillery for it?
I was following along with Straub on the turkey, but I don't know. The more I think about it, there's something.
There's just a
Buffalo Trace was my first guess. I think I'll put it down.
I don't think it's Buffalo Trace, and I don't think it's Old Forester. That's the other one. That's the other one that I think it could be. Is something out of Old Forester.
I'm not so sure you're not right about that one, Bill, because it does kind of remind me of some of the Old Forester expressions.
I tend to think that if it's not turkey, it's probably Old Foe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Old Foe, I would guess it's like one of the. It's not 1879 or the first one of those distilled ones. That's too fruity, but it might be the bottled and bond. Which one is
There's a
that?
little water in it.
1898.
1897.
1897.
When the bottle and bond act started. Come on,
Yeah.
man, get it
Yeah, come on.
together. Get it together.
I'm off my game today. I'm hungover. I'm sorry.
So, Timothy, what'd you think on the proof? I got something for everybody, but for you so far.
Let me give this one more sip.
So far on possibilities, Bill's got Russell's Reserve, Turkey Product, maybe Old Forester. I got a 1792 from Nick, a Buffalo Trace from Matt, and Timothy originally said Willet.
I'm still gonna stick with that. It has this weird like, and maybe it's just because I've like convinced myself that it's Willet, so I'm going down that road. But man, I'm gonna say it's at least 100 proof. I'm gonna stick to that. I don't know if it's higher, but it's at least 100 proof.
Anything from 100 to 110 wouldn't surprise me.
Sure. If it's higher than that, I'm gonna be blown away. And I'll tell you this too. If it's wild turkey, I am definitely gonna need to reassess a lot of things because it's just weird. Like,
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I don't think it's Heaven Hill because it doesn't have that Hallmark peanuts.
right.
It's not Buffalo Trace. It doesn't taste like spring water to me.
Right.
It's not whiskey.
It almost has that the same kind of mash bill flavor as Jack Rye. I don't know if you guys have had that, but it has almost that same. I think that what they say that one was.
Yeah, I could see that, but we know these are Kentucky bourbons, so I know it's not Jack, but it could be something in the Brown-Forman family, which is, I'm thrown off a little bit. I'm pretty sure it's not Buffalo Trace Beam. I'm pretty sure it's not Four Roses. It's not high enough rye for that.
Yeah, it's not,
There's no
not
floral
enough
character
spice.
to it.
There's not enough spice.
So, and it's not a maker's mark. I don't think this is a weeder. So it kind of narrows for me. It's narrowed down. I think it's a turkey product, but it could be Old Forester.
All right. I got your notes. I can review them when we get back. Go through them.
Such a fool. This is I'm not going to talk anymore. You guys have at it.
Actually,
it's fun. It's fun to be on this end of it.
As soon as you said makers, I'm starting to wonder about this private select because you can get some weird flavors in there with these different
Oh,
seeds.
son of a bitch! Why did you even bring that up?
I hate you, Matt.
Damn it, man!
Who invited Matt? Damn it.
All right, let's go to B.
All right, moving forward.
B.
We're going to B now. All right. Here we go.
Ooh, it's spicy. It's a spicy girl.
Just based on the nose, I'm going to write down the name here. Don't say it out loud. Just based on the nose.
Butterscotch on that one. Holy moly.
And I don't know if you guys have seen that Timothy does this a lot. I do it a lot too. For people watching at home, when you're doing tastings, if you need to reset your nose, what's the best way to do that if you don't have something on hand?
Well, ideally, the best way to do it is to smell somebody else's skin. It really is. It really is. But the best way is either smell your wrist or smell the inside of your elbow. It's the best way to neutralize out your palate for your nose and for what you're tasting and for what you're smelling.
But the two things that I've always found that works is coffee grounds. Bring a can of coffee grounds or a cup of them.
Sure.
Fantastic for resetting your olfactory senses. But even easier, right there in your inside of your elbow. Just
elbow grease.
And that's what Timothy's doing in case you're wondering at home. And it works amazingly.
Wes, this one B is fantastic, man. Holy moly, that's good. And I would definitely put that one over 100. This one I definitely think is stronger than the last one, for sure. That's gorgeous, man. The toffee and butterscotch on that nose is unbelievable. This better not be Bill stuff. I'm gonna be real.
I don't think it's high enough proof to be that.
I feel like my palate's all effed up, man. Like
we tasted too many things, and then rum. The rum might
have messed me up. The rum and that KBS.
I'm going to reset my palate here. I'm going to break my.
Already ate a KBS.
Eat another one.
Nice. It's a good beer.
I broke my low carb when I started drinking that beer.
Oh man, if you're going to do it, that's a good one. That's a good reason to.
So where do you get to go on the nose on this one?
I don't know. Give me a minute.
Oak. Dark fruits. Kind of a molasses.
Simple syrup. Okay, definitely has more age on it than the first one.
All right. I think I'm okay now.
You know, it's interesting. Outside of the toffee and the butterscotch I mentioned, both of the last one, A and B, both have a lot of like you're talking about dark fruit, but specifically, I think I taste or smell cherry, like a lot of cherry. Like maybe the last one I would say maybe it was like kind of like more like maraschino syrup. This one's more like a black cherry or like a dark cherry.
Like fresh cherry. Yeah.
I was thinking prunes and plums, but yeah, I could get on board with the black cherry here.
Like a ripe, fresh.
I can get on board with what you said. Plums,
like a commercialized,
big, juicy black cherry.
Pick it out of the box.
Yeah.
Sure. Like spit the pit out kind of thing. Yeah,
I can get that.
Because I definitely think it's a bad proof on this one for sure.
There's like a faint, like way in the background of like a citrus note, like citrus oil or citrus peel.
Definitely orange. I'm getting like a bergamot orange. Like
Yeah, exactly. It's
yeah, like almost like a gin.
Mandarin.
but it's
yeah.
more. It's weird because it's more like the essence of, so like the oil, like a concentrated of it, but it's not.
Like zest. Yeah.
Definitely, dude. I definitely smell that.
Yeah, I definitely got orange on the first one. On this one, I get a lot of dark sugars, caramels, toffee, a lot of sweet notes on the nose on that one, on B.
Yeah, I would agree too with that, Wes, that there was definitely orange in the last one, but the orange was much more upfront on the last one. And this one, it's definitely like Tim said, it's more faint. It resembles like that, like I said, that orange peel that you get in like a gin or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly.
Not like definitely like fruit
It's,
forward.
like, it's way back here,
Yeah, I agree, man.
hanging out back there.
Not sure how much of that I get. It's really going towards a. There's a there's a buttery thing going on here.
Definitely butter. But I think maybe that's what I'm smelling is instead of butter.
You know, it's funny that you brought that up. So I was getting burnt sugar. So like, if you put, let's say, you put butter and like you put butter and you browned it, and then you threw some sugar in. It's like brown butter, but like burnt brown butter.
Have you ever made cookies, chocolate chip cookies? You know, when you do the brown sugar
Of course.
and the butter? That's what, to me,
But this is
that's what
more
I'm
like
getting there.
it's more like brown butter. Like there's like a faint earthiness to
To
it.
me, it's Werther's Originals.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that got butterscotch, man. I'm telling you, like that's
I can see that.
either
definitely.
toffee or butterscotch for sure. It's a lot of it.
Well, I thought I knew initially based on the nose. I haven't tasted it yet, but I thought I knew initially on the nose what it was, and now I've kind of talked myself out of it.
Also, try to save a little bit of each if you can to go back at the end to kind of see which one you like the best. But
This one's on the top. I mean, this one I'll probably go out when you tell me what it is, Wes, and go buy some. It's pretty damn good. I really like it, man.
I haven't tasted it yet, but I just love the nose on this.
Oh, sorry. I've kind of been doing both. My fault.
I meant that's weird.
No, I know.
It's not
No,
that.
it's not. But I was just helping you out.
The first thing I got was I'd written down the 1849. I cannot, for whatever the life of me, I cannot
1897.
trade on it. But when I got the red fruits, I initially wrote that down because I feel like that
1870, 1897, 1910,
1870. Yeah, I'd written down 1879 or something, and he just crossed it out and basically told me I'm an idiot.
That was old.
First one of the Distillery Row series, the 1870. It was very fruity. That's what I'd written down as my second option on this, but it's not that. I've crossed that out. So pay no attention to the idiot in the 4-gate shirt.
What are you getting on the palate?
Don't be.
Man,
Let me
that's
taste it.
spicy.
It's been a long day.
It's spicy and fruity.
Personally, I definitely. I mean, for me, I think it's definitely a Heaven Hill product of some sort. So I don't know what it would be necessarily in their line because, like, it has some characteristics of their stuff to me, but like I don't know that I've ever had this actual expression. So that's my
one in
guess.
the end-
I could.
What I wrote down for this, the first thing I wrote down was Heaven Hill based on the nose. Now that I've tasted it, I don't think it's Heaven Hill.
So Wes did make a comment earlier about it could be a barrel pick. So I
it
feel
can be so off profile.
Exactly, it could be an off. I feel like he's really messing with. Thanks a lot, Wes. Thanks a
Wes,
lot.
you gotta challenge us sometimes, man. It's good.
Hey, yeah. I think, I'm not looking for you to. My goal is for you to see if you find a similarity with a known distillery, if it seems like some of their distillate, not necessarily to name what Heaven Hill product or what, Brown Forman product it is, but if you can think it has similarity. So those are the notes I'm writing down on there. But definitely, I think, Timothy, my notes on this, and I've done it multiple times, I had tingly spice, caramel, then spice, cinnamon, I even got apple skins and some chocolate on the end of this one. But
Yeah, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, this one. So if you told me this was a McKenna 10-year, I could believe it because they vary so much.
McKenna?
Henry McKenna, because I don't think it's much over 100 proof. If that.
He's McKenna.
But I'm still leaning, man. On the nose, it's all Heaven Hill, but on the palate, it's not.
I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. I don't even care if I'm wrong because the spice and the proof is kind of leading me that way. That it's a knob. It's like a funky Knob Creek pick.
I don't think it's high proof.
I think it's Beam.
Yeah, like I feel like it might be like a funky beam. Like
Interesting.
I feel like it's not high proof enough for that.
Yeah,
I don't
can't
feel
be
like,
120.
I don't feel like it's
I will
120.
tell you one thing. I drank a 15-year-old 6-month Knob Creek this week, and it blew my mind how easily drinking it was. It did not taste like 120 proof.
I've had easy drinking stuff before from them, but you can still tell the proof. And on this one, I'm not getting it. I'm going to say that if you just put the gun to my head, I'm going to say it's a McKenna. I'm going to be completely wrong and make a fool of myself
That's
for
fine.
the second time.
Like I said, I'll make a fool of myself too and saying it's a funky Knob Creek pick.
And the only reason I'm really saying that is because it screams Heaven Hill on the nose.
Yes.
It has age. There's no doubt about that. It's not a 4-year-old bourbon.
No.
But I don't think it's much over 100 proof.
I also think
okay.
But it's all profile on the palate, so it's throwing me a little bit.
Or Heaven Hill and Jim Beam share a mash bill.
I would
They don't share a flavor profile. That's
So I've got Heaven Hill, maybe McKenna for Bill around 100 proof. Knob Creek for Timothy, so 120.
120 proof.
Nick, you got a Heaven Hill of some sort. What do you think the proof is?
I'd put about maybe 105. We'll call it 105.
Okay. Matt, any thoughts on proof or distillery?
I'm thinking real close to 100 proof. I'm all over the place with this, though. I get the sweetness of this, like syrup,
It's going everywhere.
and then it goes to spiciness.
ideas out.
Yeah, it's like all over the place.
I keep thinking 1792, but it obviously can't be foolproof.
1792.
Interesting. That's what I thought it was the last time. That's
None of these have been that one dimensional. It's just black.
All right.
1792.
All right. I'm liking it.
All right.
We're at the half-hour marker, so let's go to C.
That's perfect. We're halfway through.
Yeah, I'm trying to shoot for about an hour or less before, a little bit less than an hour to get to the reveal so we can kind of talk through them a little bit. But
There's a lot of pepper here.
We'll speed it up just a tad. All right, here we go. Going in here.
It's another sweet one.
I'm still like dreading that we drank as much as we did before we started this.
Wow, this one is throwing me for a loop.
It's
Maple syrup.
it's super floral. Like
I
it's
want to
sweet.
scream Four Roses on this. I don't know that it is.
That's
Four
what I'm
Roses.
saying. Like it's super floral.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
to me, it's like almost tropical. Banana, like
it's not single barrel. Is it a small batch? Is it floral enough for a small batch?
Because I've gotten some floralness on yellow label, so
Yeah, I don't think it's yellow label.
it's not
It's a little higher proof than that. I think it's
small. I don't think he can get small batch select there, so we're gonna rule that one.
this was sent
We'll-
December of 18, so there
We'll
was no
rule,
select yet.
we'll rule that one out.
I think it's I'm gonna say 95 proof. Write that down for me.
I've got it.
Between 90 and 100, no more than that.
Whoa!
There are some.
I'm gonna say it's Four Roses. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Four Roses.
I think it is.
It's super floral. If it's not Four Roses, I'm gonna be super surprised. It's another one of those things. If it's not what I think it is, I'm gonna be super surprised. Yeah, so throw it out there. Four Roses.
I think it's Four Roses small batch. Just a straight up small batch. You're gonna be wrong.
Okay.
I'm sure. I'm gonna feel like a fool. I just realized Timothy's drinking from the Proper Pour Whiskey Club Glencairn there.
Nice.
Yes.
What are you thinking for the proof, Timothy?
Damn, I hate to agree with you on this because
I think it's 90 proof. I think it's 90 proof. Four Roses small batch.
it's another
I'm
one.
gonna be so wrong. He's gonna tell me it's like Booker's or something.
We're so it's like
It's BTAC hazmat, actually.
we're so proofed. It's like whatever, you know. Hold on, let me come back in here on this one.
What are you getting on this one, Nick?
I'll be honest, man. I think it's about 86 proof. This one actually really reminds me of a Brown Foreman, like a maybe regular old Ofo, or one of the, maybe the more affordable expressions of Old Forester. But that's my particular thoughts on it. It seems like kind of almost like the last one. I think they're kind of like a standard, not high ride, just like a standard bourbon mash bill.
Pretty
okay.
60 to 70% corn,
spicy.
A little bit of rye, a little bit of bourbon. So,
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Four Roses single barrel, and like the standard single barrel that you can get off the shelf. So that would be 100 proof. So I'm gonna say Four Roses. I'm gonna even be super specific. What is it?
OBS.
S.
Is it V or K or something?
OBSV, Four Roses, 100 proof single barrel. That's where I'm going because it's
Okay.
that's
Nick. I could see that there's so Old Forester is fruity, like that's the one thing I get from. But what I also get is a graham cracker. Old Forester.
I always get banana.
I get a little bit of that. I get bananas from
Cracker
the Four Roses stuff.
for sure.
I could also see this being an Old Faux.
Barrel pick.
It could be a single. Those are also woody for some weird reason. The Old Forester ones, the single barrel picks, the old school ones. But I could see this being one of the standard Old Forester releases, 86 to 90.
I wouldn't put this like a repeal one.
Signature's 90. So you have 86, and then you have 90 single barrel, and then you have 100.
I could see this being. So the one thing that throws me off from being Signature is that Signature is hot because it tends to be young, and I don't get that with this.
And what I normally get with 86, talking about Old Forester, I get like very, very sweet and light, which it's not a bad thing, but I'm not getting that. I'm getting like spice and floral, and there's a little bit of sweetness in the background, and
I get a hint of that. Have you ever had graham cracker pie crust?
Sure.
I get a hint of that with that one, which is to me is the calling card of Old Forester.
Sure.
Then you add like red, ripe, sweet fruits on top of it, but that's like the baseline of Old Forester for me. But yeah, it could be that. I think Nick, you might be onto something there. I don't know. I'm not sure whether I'm willing to move from Four Roses to that yet, but.
Well, and I'm only saying that too because that used to be my favorite brand. I drank a lot of it back in the day, and it just reminds. With the prohibition of repeal, I would know that would be very minty. There's no mint in this, so that was a different expression. But this reminds me of maybe like Old Forester. I think they call it 100 here in Houston. I don't know what it is actually in Kentucky or what have you.
It used to be called Signature, and it's just now 100 proof.
100 proof. Yeah, it used to be called Signature.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. Like in terms of it right here, like they have regular Old Forester, which is 86, and then they have Old Forester 100, then they have a few other
Right.
The 90, isn't the 90 like the black label? That's a single barrel pick. That's where I'm leaning.
We have that here in Houston. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That's the private picks. They've replaced those now with a completely new lineup that's either 90 proof or barrel proof, right? Isn't that your choices now for the Old Forester?
Yeah.
Yep. I can't wait to get an Old Forester barrel proof.
The old ones, Matt, were definitely 90. The store picks were 90 proof. So I got 90 to 100 for Bill. Four Roses small batch. Got 100 proof Four Roses single barrel OBSV from Timothy. an Old Forester Standard Mash Bill 86 from Nick, and Old Forester Possible Single Barrel 90 proof from Matt. Is that kind of wrap that up? All right.
Did we get notes on that one, Wes? I don't think we
that?
any notes.
Tell me a little bit on the taste. We got some of the, you guys gave some notes on the nose. Floral. Both Nick and both Timothy and Bill were talking about the floral nature of it.
Yeah. And then, we were talking about the graham crackery, buttery crust, kind of pie crust thing. And then I do get like some woodsy, almost like tree barkish notes in the nose. Which reminds me of being out in the forest somewhere. We're kind of like Jack Daniels does that really too. And I know I keep mentioning Jack Daniels.
I'll be super pretentious on you right now and say cypress sap. Because
sure, we'll go with that. Cypress sap.
Definitely got that. Like, what's going on with our camera?
I'm trying to move it a little bit because I keep moving.
Okay, I was
freaking me out too.
Go away. Yeah, I'll be super pretentious and say cypress sap because I got that like woodsy, foresty, like wood, like sappiness, whatever. Just
like when you're out camping and like
exactly.
Trees are starting to. Drop their, what I mean? You guys have been out there and done that.
Exactly.
It definitely has that, man.
Yeah, on that one, I wrote on the nose, I put a muted caramel note. I got a citrus note again, a little bit of toffee. I thought it was brighter on the nose than the other two. On the taste, I put a fading spice with some dusty caramel, wood come through, wood spice. I got an apple skin, like a red apple skin note on the palate on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I think maybe we're all also like not trying to repeat what we talked about from the previous whiskey. But I think with a lot of bourbons, you're going to get like some good citrus. Some notes are kind of like prevalent throughout all bourbon, and you kind of like expect them. There's more anchor notes that depend on the distillery or what have you.
Right.
But even still, like this is also why you don't probably do it back to back. Like taste. Like when we did it last time, I took several nights. So, but it's hard to tell. Also you doing it right, Wes. You have the multiple glasses, but I'm unfortunately doing it with one, so in the glass. I mean,
God, send that man some Glencairns.
You're gonna need some extra Glencairns for sure. But no, I mean, I still stand by like what I'm smelling and what I'm tasting. I mean, it's pretty prevalent. So I would absolutely agree. There's like a lemon oil, kind of like almost a grapefruit citrus somewhere that's maybe. Not quite in the front, but like definitely in the flavor. Like you're getting it. I would say like mid sip, somewhere in that range. I definitely taste that. I don't know if that's exactly what citrus you tasted, but that's what I'm getting. Definitely like in the nose, the woodsiness. Definitely caramel, your vanilla, your prerequisites that you usually get, stuff like that. So,
Wes, can you tell us? Do you repeat distilleries in this tasting?
I will say that I can, but not necessarily. It could be. Hey, I've already told you, Kentucky Distillers.
You're so tricky.
So let's go to D.
All right, let's do it.
I'm smelling it because now I'm thinking I'm going back to another one that we've already talked about.
This is going to be an enlightening unveiling.
Do you want the D?
Don't want the D.
It's gonna suck how bad we all bomb this. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I know.
I'm so looking forward. I'm so looking forward to bombing it.
I guess we don't have to publish this, do we?
If
You don't have to.
Actually, into a tasting, I can do a blind pretty well. We did one earlier. I did a blind, and I almost nailed it, like spot on. But
real close.
A few drinks in, that's gone. There's no more. Start questioning myself, and everything starts blending together. Yeah, no, it's not a thing anymore.
Interesting on this one. This one to me is like very light.
Very thin. I was going to say, yeah. There's not
Like
no trouble getting much off of it.
I think it's the highest proof.
It definitely hits the nose that way.
On the nose, it's definitely there's some ethanol.
It's aggressive. It's really aggressive.
Man, wow, that's a
Man, it's so aggressive.
if you told me.
Lots of ethanol, man.
Really?
Holy moly.
I would. So I think that's a higher proof.
Really?
Oh, who said really? Was that Wes that said?
No.
Me.
Nick.
No, it was me.
Yeah, do we have different samples here? I don't get a whole lot on here.
Yeah. No, I'm getting a lot of.
How do I kick Matt out of the?
Hi, Matt.
So, Bill, what do you think on the proof? You said 100 and
I think it's 100 and. I think it's well over 100. I mean, I would go with a barrel proof of some sort, maybe.
Yeah, I would say it's I would say it's
120?
cast strength. I would go cast strength.
If it's not cast strength, it's Knob Creek at 120.
Sure.
But I'm going to go with 115 plus on this.
okay.
And then what's going to happen is he's going to come back and say that these are all 100 proof bottle and bond.
They're all 80% bottom shelf.
Suck it.
If not, then it's alcohol forward on the profile compared to the other ones. My notes on the nose are oak with an exclamation point and ethanol.
I got ethanol.
I get dark fruits. I get
Acetone, caramel.
a lot of like charred brown sugar, like just burn it.
There's a faint barrel note.
There's something else. There's like a molasses and a.
There you go.
There's some molasses on there too. So this is tasty. This might actually be my favorite one of them because I like that in your face kind of punch to it.
Can we go with the isopropyl alcohol on that one?
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, I have my pick on what I think this is exactly what I'll tell you. I think it's the old Granddad 114. I really do.
You think so? High rye?
This reminds me of that a lot. Very ethanol-y, very, very spicy. Holy moly.
Is it that young? That's my question.
I don't.
Yeah.
How maybe is young?
I think
No. This one I do not like.
I think it's young. I just don't get a whole lot. I don't feel like a lot's going on here.
I don't get that
Other
used.
than
It's from the bean.
ethanol.
It's the cardboard.
But
Could be.
they had a really good point. That ethanol and that spice could be from it being young. You know?
Yeah, it could be.
Tell you what, that woke me up. Man.
Yeah. No joke.
No, I think you're onto something with it being Beam.
Maybe.
With you.
Don't want to influence the group here.
Absolutely not. We don't want to influence each other.
I don't think it's
You like what you like, man. So one thing, everybody that subscribes to this and ever wants to be a part of this, just what you feel is best and what you like the most is always.
So, Matt, what are you thinking about the proof?
Nice.
Everyone else thinks it's
See here.
115 cast strength, 114. What are you thinking?
I'm airing lower than that.
Okay.
Wow, really? I'm saying cast. I can't quite pinpoint, but I'm gonna say over 110 cast strength.
Okay.
There are some definite barrel tannins on the end of that, and it's either barrel tannins or yeastiness, which just screams Jim Beam. I don't think it's Old Granddad because I don't think it's really high rye.
Oh, wait a second.
I think it might be Knob Creek.
Standard Knob Creek.
If it is, there's so much oak on the nose that there's age on this. I think this is a 9-year. I'm gonna guess 9-year Knob
What did I sign up for here? Oh my god.
Knob Creek, Bill?
I think it's a Knob Creek single
Oh
barrel.
yeah, it's super oak and tannin.
Yeah.
on the back end. It's like tannins. Like,
It's too tannic. I think it's too tannic to be a OGD.
Yeah, it's way too tannic to be anything young. Like there's a lot of barrel going on there on the back end.
It's going to be
What we're doing here, fellas, I'm going to add some water to it. Let's just see what happens. Maybe I can get something from it.
if in my view, after everything we've drank tonight, if any of these are Jim Beam, it's this one. And I think it's a Knob Creek single barrel private pick.
That would explain a lot because I do not like Jim Beam at all. I think, when we did the last blind tasting, that ended up being a written up article. I scored it pretty low because I've never liked their stuff. I do like Knob Creek, however, but I like standard Knob Creek.
I've had a weird relationship with Jim Beam. Anything that says Jim Beam on the label, I've never liked. If it's a black label or
So hopefully these aren't all Jim Beam products.
but if it's Knob Creek or Booker's, I like it. I like regular Knob Creek. I think it's a great, just
Me too.
daily house bourbon.
Sure.
The Knob Creek single barrels, especially the store picks, are the value of the year every year. 9 years old, 120 proof, upwards of 15 years old at time. I think that's probably somewhere along those lines. The only thing that gets me is I'm not sure that's fully 120 proof. I think it's closer to 115. But
I'm having a hard time like pinpointing a distillery, but I will go out and say it's over 110 proof, and it's extra aged. And I'll say extra aged like
more than 5.
More than 5. So let's say like 6 and up.
Okay.
But yeah, having a really hard time like pinpointing like. And I just added water to it as well.
Matt, any thoughts on distillery proof?
I was with everybody else on Jim Beam. I'm really thinking that, but I just can't figure out what. I like the at first I like the old granddad pick, but you're right, it's not that spicy.
It's very spicy though.
I would be really
not the rye spicy. I mean,
there's too many tannins, like
burning me.
palate.
It's not Booker's.
No,
It's not hot enough to be Booker's.
But there's just too many
Acres,
palates.
107.
I'm really curious what this is.
I'm with you on that because the reason that I say that I think it's a Knob Creek barrel pick is I think it's over 110. And there's some age on it. I don't think it's like a 20-year-old bourbon or anything like that. But the Knob Creek picks are 9 years old or older.
Sure.
Quantity. And they add water to them, which kind of screws with the palate a little bit. When you add even a little bit of water to get it to 120, it just makes me kind of go back to that. It may not be. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Wes came back and said these are all 100. These are all bottle and bond. And just fuck with us.
But this is the one
That wouldn't surprise me either.
I'm like super curious about because all those tannins.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got your notes, I've got your proof, I've got your distillery guesses. Now what I want to do is we're going to pick a winner, and it's going to be simple: golf score, low score wins. So I need you to rank them 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me your ranks, and I will add them up, and we'll come up with what comes out on top among the 4.
Sure. I can give you mine while we're waiting.
Okay, Nick, what's yours?
Definitely, B is my number 1.
Okay.
I would say A is my number 2.
Man, that's so.
B is my number 3. D is my number 10, 15. Can we go lower than that? I hate this whiskey. I've never drank it.
D is your number 4. Okay. Anyone else ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
No.
I got my number 1 is B. My number 2 is A. My number 3 is D. And my number 4 is C.
Okay. Timothy or Matt?
Hold on.
Ready?
Back through.
Number 1 B, number 2 C, number 3 A, 4 D.
Okay.
Take your time.
Thank you. I plan on it.
Yeah.
This is the part I'm going to edit out in case you're wondering.
So, fuck you.
doesn't rank them.
A loser. Damn it. Okay.
Okay.
My number one is D. There's something going on there that I really like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number two is B.
I guess B wins it.
And then A is 3 and C is last.
Okay. All right.
I liked all of them, to be honest.
I will say that too. I didn't dislike any of them, but having to.
God, 4 is tannic. I just had noticed that.
It is.
Yeah.
There's something.
I put a stringency, tannic, oak on that one.
Maybe it's because we've been drinking a little bit, and we could revisit this and it'd be something different. But right now,
I think it's very oaky, very tannic.
but right now, this is doing it for me.
So, I mean, if that's up your alley, perfect.
Sure. No, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But right now, it's mood.
You
Like,
like
the mood's totally going to change what's going on.
I like them all. There wasn't any of these that I disliked.
Right.
I mean, I thought the last one was. I still say, if it's a Knob Creek single barrel, I'm okay with that because I love those.
Right.
Okay, the winner, my rankings, and I've had them probably 4 or 5 different times. My number one was B.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 was, so 4 out of 5 put B as number 1, and 2 put B as one person. Timothy put as number 2. My number 2 was C. Number 3 was A, and number 4 was D.
Damn it.
So the rankings were.
I'm with you.
Was B in first place.
The oddball.
A came in second, C came in third, and D came in fourth.
That was my favorite.
Okay, so let's go back, and I will talk to you about, first of all, I'm going to give you a chance to guess distilleries again after I tell you they're all the same distillery.
You son of a bitch. Mess me up, Wes. Let's go. Let's just go through it.
So
mess me up. Let's go.
the only thing I felt in common from all of them is that I had written down Heaven Hill as a possibility for everything.
Me too. In my mind.
That's definitely
I think
his notes.
I think it's probably. I'm not gonna say
Whatever. Let's just party. Let's go. Wes, just go. Mess us up. Let's go.
Do you want to know what the proofs were?
Yes.
Out of the water.
Yes. Proofs.
The range on proofs were 109.7 to 111.6.
Wow.
Turkey.
Shame.
Shit.
And one person was right on track and then got a little bit off, so I will tell you what they are. A.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
They are all Maker's Mark.
Really?
West.
They're all Weeders.
All
And Matt, from the very first note, Matt goes, "This is a Weeder.
It's the one.
This could be a Maker's Mark. These could be private selects."
Interesting.
So the cast strength,
Thank you.
the first one was 110.3. And the reason I did this is because they were all completely different stave private selects.
They're all private selects.
They're all private selects with different stave makeups. B, which everyone liked, I will show you the back, and I will talk about what it was. B had one of the baked American Pure, 5 of the seared French Cuvée, 3 of the roasted French Mocha, and 1 of the toasted French Spice. So heavily on the seared French Cuvée staves in B. This was the tasting panel from 2016 from Maker's Mark Distillery. It was all the distillers and those who worked there coming together and picking this as the one for 2016.
What's the proof on that?
The proof is 111.6.
I said it's gonna suck when we all figure out how bad we bomb this.
Who was it?
That's a B. No lie. I was wondering. I was like, is this something Makers? But I didn't say anything because I did my.
You were all pretty close on the proof. We're right in the ballpark on A. On B, Timothy said 120. Nick said 105. That one was 111. A little over 111. The next one, C, was 111.1 proof. This is the one that you all thought was the lowest proof. It was actually the second one was the highest proof of the night at 55.8. So they're all within 1% of each other.
Interesting.
The private select for C, the staves, this one had 1 seared French cuvee where the last one had 5. This one had 5 roasted French mocha and 4 toasted French spice. So 9 of them were on that.
I want to get on D. That's what I'm.
French mocha, French spice.
What's that proof of D?
The proof for which one? C?
D.
I haven't gotten to that one. So that one was a store pick, 2017 at Davidson's. And then this was our Christmas pick in 2018. And it was the lowest proof of the night, which everyone thought was the highest proof of the night. It was 54.85 ABV, 109.7. So they were all pretty close in the ABV.
This one, okay. So when you get into makers in this whole private select thing, you can pick how long the staves sit in the barrel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they typically do it for like a 90-day period. I think That's a short period.
And you can go longer.
Yeah, in theory, whatever you want.
The tannins in this thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just like blown away at how tannic this was. So Wes, what are the staves?
The staves in the last one were all on the front end. They were 3 baked American pure 2s, 2 seared French cuvee, 3 Makers 46. It's the only one that had Makers staves in it.
Oh, okay.
The Makers 46 stave. None of the other ones had that. And it had 2 of the toast, no French mocha, and 2 of the toasted French spice. So you had them kind of going on the extremes of the staves on both ends.
Right.
And the reason I did this, because I did it with the group too, because with the club, they're like, is this a weeder or is it not? It's so spicy. Mm-hmm. And started getting into some of the things Matt was bringing up at the beginning. I get that sweetness, but then the spice kind of throws you off a little bit.
How tannic that is.
Same distillate, different selections of staves. The whole purpose of this was to show what the oak can do to the distillate, even in a short period of time.
Accomplished.
Man, I mean,
it's different.
Yeah, really that was the biggest thing, is how different all of these tasted. I mean,
wow,
threw me through a loop, man. Like, for real. Like,
now I'm going to go back and taste them all again.
I'm a little mad, Wes. I know you weren't trying to do any trickery, but dang it, man. You know what? I think this is a really good example. Like you just said, this is a really good example at how much you can vary with the stave that you put in the barrel and the variation of what you do. So, man, same mash. So it all started out at the same mash bill and the same proof.
Right.
Everything is batched at 110, and then it gets staves and it sits however long, right? And this is a great example of how you can take the exact same thing and tailor it, and it just, man.
I think this is a great lesson for 4 gate, then that finishing barrels matter. So that's a good thing right now.
Yeah, and the thing is the age on the distillate going into those when they put the staves in there is all in the same range. It's the same proof as Timothy's saying. So that's why you got a tight range of about 1.5% on all the proofs. But some of them tasted hotter than the other ones, and definitely there was a difference in the flavor profile with that starting distillate. It's amazing what that does in a short period of time.
Like you were saying, there's some that they tasted so smooth. Like you would have never guessed they were 100 proof necessarily, or actually some of you guys did. Sorry, so I shouldn't say that. But they were really, really smooth, and some of them were really hot, and you would think they were way hotter, but they weren't. They were right around the same range, and that's a killer test. Like you said, that just proves the power of the oak. And the different types of woods that are charred at different levels and used. It's cool. It's a really cool experiment.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've always said that the makers, their private selections are one of the most unique things going in bourbon today because they are so different. When you add wood, just different types of wood into the equation, it changes everything. And it's so amazing that you can take a Woodford, Maker's Mark cast strength, which I think is a very good expression of Maker's Mark cast strength.
I think it's their best. I like Maker's Mark cast strength the best for their expressions.
Agreed. But you can take that and just add a couple of staves, and it completely changes the flavor profile. It changes. Other than, was it Matt who said Maker's Mark to start out?
Matt was the only one who said it the entire night.
Everyone else thought these were high rise or rise. I mean, it was crazy. So just amazing stuff. Maker's is a lot of fun. On a pick with Maker's Mark, it's a blast.
It really is.
You sit down in this cave, in this room. You get this big glass window behind you with the cave with all the barrels aging behind you, and you get to just play around like you're in a chemistry set or something like that. It's awesome, and this stuff great.
I'm not a math guy, but I think between the 5 different stave combinations, between the 10 you can put in there, because you can put 10 of one. That's what Maker's 46 is. I think they say that there are 1,000 options.
1,001 to be.
Yeah. And some of them, one of these you tasted, the third one, the last one, has only been done, I think, 2 times out of all the picks.
Hey.
So it's kind of the outlier. Getting back to what you said, Timothy, it was the most different one.
Yeah.
I think it's only been picked 2 times.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun when you're there because they will tell you, like, when you finish, you pick what you want. And they'll log onto the computer right there in the room with you, and they'll say, "Hey, Bar ABC picked this in 2019." They do, and they'll tell you that this has been done X amount of times before, and people like it because of this. And here's what they'll say the tasting profile is, and it's great. Like it's the best thing. It's one of the most unique and fun things that's come to bourbon in a long time, and I love it. I would do a Maker's barrel pick. The only downside to it is it's a day-long commitment. Like, you're going to be there all day.
It takes the whole day.
Yeah. All day.
You know, Wes, I'm a little mad that you did the same thing across the board, but at the same time, I also applaud you because this really drives home how versatile Maker's Mark is, right? Like, I feel like Maker's kind of has a bad rap for whatever reason, and when you get into this, I mean, we were all over the board. We were Jim Beam, Evan Hill. I even said Willett at one point. It was this guy. Bio was like, "Oh, it's Willett." Like, you really can tailor a profile that you want to do. Like, more people need to explore this.
I felt pressured to come up with other distilleries, to be honest. Right. I was like, well, 2 of them anyway. I thought this is one was the Four Roses, and then the last one was Jim Beam. I was like, what have we not tasted yet? I've got to come up with another distillery that Wes hasn't chosen yet.
The one note that that kept going through all of them when I first did them, and when I've had others taste them, and I get it on Maker's Mark, is the citrus orange note.
Yep.
A lot of times.
That's
and
true.
to me, and that showed up in all 4 of them.
Yeah, sure.
You know what's funny about that is that I typically associate that with rye.
Yeah.
And there's no rye in Maker's Mark.
Nope.
Right.
I agree with that.
Zero rye.
So these barrels matter, apparently.
Some of them had like a grapefruit or tangerine-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going into the orange
Yeah.
category too. You know?
You even at one point you said bergamot, and that was like spot on.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, man.
That's
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 70% corn, 16% red winter wheat, and 14% malted barley. No rye at all.
No,
But we're getting a lot of spice on there, and that's coming from those toasted staves.
I love those Maker's Mark private picks. I really do. They're so the best things about them is they are so different. Depending on what you pick, you can go from one end of a spectrum to another. Pick all of the mocha staves that you can, and
Right.
it tastes like hot chocolate.
right.
Just all of them, and then go all of the Maker's 46 staves, and it tastes like cinnamon.
And then you could do like a cuvee and a mocha and
Yeah.
Mexican hot chocolate.
Yeah.
There's like
It's wonderful.
there's so it really is like
How bizarre is it too that like I got chocolate only on 2 and it was like faint on both of them? Like it's so weird, you know. I guess we're all just that different. We're all similar, you know. We picked up some things that were pretty much like a line through everything, you know, and it's really cool. It was a great.
Yeah, and in my notes, I really picked up the chocolate on B and D, and I'm trying to see. Okay, there's some roasted French mocha in B, and then you get in D's a little bit different. You got the toasted French spice, but I picked up chocolate more on those 2 than any of the 4.
And even in the 2 I picked it up on, it was faint.
Yeah,
It wasn't even like something I would even have mentioned because it was kind of like a Mexican hot chocolate with maybe a little bit of cinnamon, but like,
yeah.
right. There
still,
you go.
there's no point in pointing it out to me. Not
I've
really.
never had Mexican hot chocolate, but it's been brought up like 4 times tonight, and now like I just
Seriously?
have to
You
taste
I
it.
need to go to Mexico and have.
You really do.
Where have I been? Like what's going on in my life? Where have I gone wrong?
You've been living in the South, so that's a problem.
Mexico South.
And we're a little closer down here to Mexico, so we do get a bit of that here in Houston as opposed to Kentucky.
You have Colorado, you have Houston, you have California originally. It's no surprise that you're not okay with Mexican chocolate. It's okay.
Ugh.
We'll help you out.
I need guide me.
So we're at about a little over an hour and 5, hour and 10 now, and I appreciate you guys going through this. I thought it was a fun experiment, and that's why I've done it a couple times. And after people get over the "you did what?" It's the same thing. Everyone then sits back and reflects and goes, "Wow, that's an interesting bourbon experiment to see what the wood does to that and how you can be thrown off." I mean, I think so many times we get into this mood that you can pick out a bourbon versus a rye. I tell you, most people can't do it.
Definitely not with this.
This was a great example.
throws through a loop.
This was awesome. If anyone's watching, hopefully people are watching. It really shows you that you know there's such a huge variety in whiskeys, especially when you play around with the oak. The oak just the barrels change everything. And there's so much fun to be had.
Yeah,
I mean, just
agreed.
taste blind, just do it. You're going to challenge everything you thought you knew about bourbon. I don't care how great you think you are. Taste it blind. It's going to challenge you. You're going to have fun. Do it. Well, thank everybody for joining us. Wes, thank you so much for sending out these samples and for heading up this tasting. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you have a second, go to patreon.com/ModernThirst and consider supporting us there. Even $1 a month is fantastic. It just helps us out so much. And go to ModernThirst.com/
People get your coins.
because you're going to have a chance to win a Four-Gate whiskey bottle that is very hard to get, and you're going to like it.
And so damn good.
I'd like to say that I love it, but I'm kind of biased. So, but anyway,
We love it too.
coins, we'll do a drawing as soon as the coins are sold out. I think there's about 45 coins left to sell. So check us out. We appreciate you sticking with us through this whole podcast. Thanks a lot, and cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Oh,
Cheers.